I recently got to check a major item off my bucket list, seeing a goddamn American hero and the last living highwayman live and in color. And as much as I want to sit here and rub it in your guys' faces by fangirling about how I was close enough to get a contact high from the Redheaded Stranger and the monster lineup of amazing artists from Jesse Wells to Bob Dylan to Neil Young to John Mellencamp, who played on the Farm Aid stage beside him, the real reason I was there is something that is far more important to talk about, something that's incredibly personal to me and should be incredibly important to you. Losing the farm is a turn of phrase for a major financial loss, but for millions of Americans over the past 4 or 5 decades, my family included, it wasn't a turn of phrase, it was a tragic turning point in their lives. Back in the Reagan days, because of course it was, corporate lobbyists and greedy politicians changed farming regulations, policies, and subsidies. This opened the floodgate for billionaires who've never gotten a damn speck of dirt on their designer shoes to crush out family farms. And like the vultures they are, they picked through the corpses they had created in heartland America. Also, they could set up a dystopian factory farming oligarchy that exploits not just farmers, but every single person who eats food. And as bad as it was back then, it's only gotten worse today.
Lots of people know this book, The Jungle, that Upton Sinclair wrote. We only had 52% consolidation of the beef market then. Yeah. We got way more of that now.
And that doesn't stop with the cattle markets. It's the grain markets and the poultry markets and the pig markets. And the policies and subsidies created in the wake of the monopolistic landscape talked about in The Jungle to help family farmers stay afloat has been pillaged by those same corporations.
There's a lot of research showing that subsidies lead to more farm consolidation. And so we know that most of the funding is going to these commodity crop growers. Hardly any is going to people who actually grow food.
In fact, 65% of the farm subsidies paid out last year were given in the form of handouts you paid for with your tax dollars to the top 10% of corporate farms. And as a result, you have personally paid for a handful of companies to control every aspect of the food you eat from factory farm to fork. 90% of the animal products we consume, whether that's meat, dairy, eggs, leather, it all comes from animals forced to spend their entire lives in their own filth, just almost exclusively in disgusting, unsanitary, disease-riddled, completely inhumane, and downright poisonous factory-confined animal feeding operations, or CAFOs. And the vast majority of the grain you see growing around the country goes to feeding them. This affects you directly because it means that a handful of companies have essentially purchased your freedom by controlling every aspect of the food you eat. And it's not just your food. These operations are poisoning the groundwater many of us drink. It's making the rivers, lakes, and streams your kids fish and play in toxic. It's one of the largest greenhouse gas producers on the planet. It is driving up medical costs around the country. It's stealing billions of your tax dollars and giving it to billionaires. And it's making ghost towns out of communities all across the country by not only putting family farms out of business, but locally owned butcher shops and grocery stores and farmers markets as well, stripping you of all of your options as to where you can purchase the food that you eat. We are living in a dystopian nightmare that is hid behind a very thin curtain. But as they say, the night is darkest just before the dawn, and guys, it is fucking dark. But with the whole system starting to crumble under its own gluttonous weight and tariffs pulling the rug out from underneath it, there just might be some silver linings.
We are in a crisis moment for farming in the U.S. With that, there is an opportunity for us to pave a different path forward, and that we can really support farmers who are in crises right now.
From the 1800s to the 1900s, we had a real revolution in this country. We basically said, like, we're not going to let the robber barons take us. Like, the farmers stood together, the workers stood together. We passed laws. They have a law that was passed in 1921 dedicated to saying the meat packers can't become a monopoly. And we really enforced those laws all the way up until the late 1970s.
What can people do to try to push and pressure to get these things done, again, under the current infrastructure that we already have?
At least it's a little bit bipartisan antitrust enforcement. It's come back into vogue. They don't have to pass a new law. They can be asking for this administration to make that enforcement.
See, guys, there is a silver lining, and if you want to fight fascism right now, the best way to do it is with food. Taking back our food freedom and power and giving it to the people takes away power from every aspect of government and their corporate overlords. And we don't even have to pass new laws or move new mountains to do it. Most of the laws we need to get this shit done is already on the books, and it's becoming more bipartisan by the day to enforce them. We just need to put the pressure on our representatives and state attorney generals to do so. And the rest we can do ourselves pretty easily. And to help support my community, my country, and help fight fascists for all of our freedom, I'm making a pledge to do just that officially. You can find this pledge in the tree, in my bio, or somewhere in, on, or around this video, depending on where you're watching it. And I'd appreciate the hell out of it if each and every one of you would sign it, because, you know, selfishly, if enough people sign it, it means I'm telling the stories well enough where they'll keep inviting me back. And guys, when you go do stuff with these local family farms and farming organizations, the food is really fucking good. Unless selfishly, I truly do believe in this cause, and I know that everybody right now is desperate to find a way that they can make a difference, and this is a tangible way each and every one of you can do that. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the dozens of organizations that all coordinated together to invite a bunch of other creators and myself to come check out all of these local family farms, speak to experts in all of these fields, attend Farm Aid, feed us some really awesome food. And out of all of the people they could have invited, I am incredibly humbled that I am one of them that they are trusting to tell this incredibly important story. My imposter syndrome has been running the fuck away with me this past week. It was the most authentic, genuine group of people I've ever had the privilege of working with. And to have that privilege, the biggest thanks I owe is to each and every one of you. You are the people who have put me here, and I truly cannot thank you enough. That said, please do it again. Please, please, please sign the pledge. Make sure this video is seen far and wide because I really want to be invited back. I love you guys, and in the weeks to come, I'm going to be posting more content about this and all of the full interviews I took while I was there so you guys can see firsthand just how amazing these people are and what they have to say. And again, we just can't thank you guys enough.